Major funding for this program provided by the Moving Image Trust Fund. Additional funding for this program provided by the Arkansas Agriculture Department.
Hello, I'm Tony Brooks, and this is Agri Arkansas. Today, flying high with Arkansas agriculture, ideas taking root at the local library, and social media and agriculture. Our guest, agriculture aviator Michael Hutchins, and Sean Ott, garden programmer with the Faulkner County Library. Agriculture in Arkansas provides jobs well beyond those directly related to working the dirt or tending the animals. These jobs can be laboratories, classrooms, or even offices. But one offers a work site like no other. Take a look.
I've been around the business my whole life. Man, I love it, but you know, like I said, I was born into it.
It was pretty overwhelming at first.
It's just overall, it's a fun job.
What's it like? I mean, what do you get out of it?
It's enjoyable. I mean, it's like anything. There's good days and bad.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. It's always fun to get back in it. I guess the best part about the whole situation to me is, I mean, it's a challenge, you know. I mean, it's not something that everybody does.
It's a dangerous job. Agricultural aviation, to me, is long days. It's far and away different than the general aviation side. General aviation folks are typically taking off, and they immediately climb up to an altitude. The highest we get is basically 500 feet, and that's just ferrying to and from a field. On site, you're 10 feet off the ground or 80 feet off the ground. And that's the thing that really distinguishes us from the general aviation side, is the manner in which we're actually flying. It's low level, not a lot of room for error. It's something that we've been trained to do, and we're comfortable doing it.
Arkansas Aerial Applicators Association basically supports the crop dusting industry of Arkansas. We try to stay on top of any legislation that might affect us tax-wise and insurance-wise and everything else. The plant board basically regulates our industry.
Our organization is just the nonprofit organization for the ag aviation industry in Arkansas. Our members are made up of operators, pilots, ground crew, and our allied members that that are integral into our daily operations. Our members are highly trained individuals that are dedicated to the commercial application of fertilizer as well as wet, anything from pesticides to fungicides. So they're in there day in, day out trying to help deliver a safe food supply to Americans. Agriculture is our biggest industry here in the state. Rice is our #1 export, and without aerial application, rice wouldn't be possible. There's no way to put a ground rig in a rice field just due to the terrain. So we're key in keeping the rice healthy, fertilized, and key to feeding Arkansas and key to feeding the world, really.
This will be my 8th season, and I've been around it my whole life. My grandfather started our flying service in 1950. He came here in 1948 and worked as a flight instructor, and then he started his business in 1950, and then my dad was a pilot, and now here I am.
I've been an ag pilot for 11 years now. A typical day would be wake up in the morning, hour or so before daylight, go to work, maybe sit around, have some coffee for a while, see which way the wind's blowing. Or
waking up early and getting to the airport before daylight, and getting the work orders together and make sure all the people are going in the right places. The other guy that flies for us, we kind of set our schedule out with the secretary and get the day going and planned, and hopefully how the day will go. It don't always work like that, but we get all that going, and while we're doing that, the ground crew's getting the airplanes out and getting those ready to go. And then, we start in the morning by spraying, and then the wind picks up, or we get kind of caught up on that as much as we could do, then we'll change over to dry, and we'll start fertilizing, and usually do that about the rest of the day. I've worked on the ground crew starting when I was about 13 years old, and so I started there and just kind of worked my way up. Oh man, it's fun some days, but then there's some days where the wind's blowing really hard and a storm's coming and people are pushing you to hurry up and get their stuff done, and you've got to get it out before a rain, you know, in a timely manner, and you're busting your tail trying to get it done, and the conditions aren't always the best, but you know, there's certain restrictions on applying pesticides or spraying, and you know, if the wind gets above 10 miles an hour, we shut down spraying, but that doesn't stop us from putting out fertilizer. You can roll on it all day long as they'll let you. And so if it's blowing and rain's coming and just a nasty day, you still got to be out there and getting after it, and it's not that fun. But when the sun's shining and the wind's calm, it's a pretty fun job to do.
This right here is actually a turbine. It's a Thrush aircraft. It's a 510 Thrush. It's powered by the Pratt & Whitney motor, and the motor on these, the turbine motors, the reason why the nose on them is so long is actually the motor actually comes to about right here, so it's actually relatively small, unlike the older ones. But it's a lot more efficient, a lot more durable, dependable. This is the spray system on the airplane. That pump right there, that fan, the actual air actually drives that. We have electric brake that we control from the inside. And so when we're flying and we're making an application, that right there is actually what's spinning and actually pumping the liquid back up underneath the plane. This particular plane right now, like I was saying earlier, is actually set up on the liquid setup, not the dry. So these nozzles right here, that's actually where the spray actually comes out when we're making our application. The nozzles can be configured. They have a dial on them that you can adjust the amount of gallons that you want to put out per acre. We can pretty much go, with this nozzle set up, by adjusting the dial, you can pretty much go from a gallon up to 10 or 12 gallons per acre. Inside of the airplane, you have your GPS here. This right here is a glass gauge that actually has all your instruments as far as your torque, temperature, everything that's relevant to the motor is right there in that one screen. So when we're doing liquid spray, the loading is actually right through here. We have a hose that hooks up to it. You open a valve, load the airplane up.
I'm really very fortunate and blessed guy to have been born into it. My whole family's involved in it. Like I said, my father was a pilot. My mother works out there alongside us. My sister worked out there. Both my sisters did. And being around them and my grandfather, it's just a blessing to be able to go to work with them every day. And it's just something that's, I guess, in my blood and that I love.
Your local library has always been a source for information and inspiration. The Faulkner County Library in Conway has reached out beyond the pages of their books, even going outside the walls of the library to create a demonstration garden where patrons can learn and work and better understand the fundamental elements of growing their own food.
The idea is just getting people, back outside. The Faulkner County Library is a great place to do it because, it is a public space, so it's open to everyone. And that's our goal with our outreach and education stuff, is to get as many people as possible excited about it, learning about it. It's a great place to get people who know about what we do to come hang out, discuss things, as well as people who haven't heard about us that just are coming in the library and just maybe are checking out a book but see that we've got this going on, and they can just walk through, learn a little bit if they don't know anything, talk to some people that have more experience, maybe talk to people that have less experience, just share ideas, things like that.
Hey everyone, want to gather around?
Hands-on experiential learning,
get your hands in the dirt and also learn at the same time, based on whatever we're doing at the time, whatever is seasonally appropriate. It's more of a demonstration and education garden. It's open to all members of the community, and between adult work days and kids garden club, it's just a great educational resource. Well, the library is supposed to be a resource to connect members of the community with information. The garden plot is right behind the library, and it's open 24/7. Anybody can walk back and take a look whenever they want. Generally, we have our work days on Thursdays during the growing season, and almost always on Sundays.
For people who don't know, it started as basically a competition between the three universities. It was UCA, Hendrix, and Central Baptist. And so like they had 3 plots back there trying to figure out who could grow the most food. And then it kind of just got all smushed together, essentially.
Volunteers get to do what they're supposed to, play and grow their own food. Volunteers are able to take home some produce. The rest of the produce we donate to a food pantry down the street. They also just get a chance, for the college kids, it gives them a chance to get out of that campus bubble, get to meet folks from the other colleges, also meet community members of all ages. And now we have a lot more community members and varied demographics coming out rather than just college kids. It's a great way to exchange knowledge, kind of learn what works for one person, what doesn't work for another, connects to different events, kind of find like-minded people.
It's very much an educational garden. It's we're going to have pretty much anything that people would eat, and a lot of different flowers that they would have in their personal gardens at home, or just like native plants that they're going to see out and about. We've got, for perennials, which is stuff that comes back every year, we've got blackberries, we've got blueberries, we've got asparagus, we've got sunchokes, we've got a fig tree out there, we've got apple, pear, peach trees, we've got raspberries, what else do we got? Strawberries, and then seasonal stuff for this year. I mean, we just started all of our greens, so stuff that we've got started right now, we've got kale, spinach, collards, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, a bunch of different types of lettuce, and then we're about to get started on peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes. We'll have sweet potatoes and midsummer, fall, squash, but anything and everything that you would want. Like, we're going to try to have at least some section dedicated to it so that people can experience it, see it, and take some home with them.
Like, you can talk about different germination methods. I was talking to a woman about what she does with her sweet peas to get them actually to grow in Arkansas. It's just a good way to swap knowledge, swap information, and develop that agricultural community.
As the basic fundamentals of agriculture remain unchanged, water to seed, animals to feed, etc., the way we talk about agriculture, on the other hand, has evolved quite a bit. Let's take a look now at social media in agriculture.
It's really important that we get the story of agriculture out there.
Well, social media is here to stay. There's such an upside potential to reach people through social media. It's another tool.
With every generation, fewer and fewer people have experience with production agriculture in their childhood, in their lifetime. And so, when you can't think back to going to Grandpa's farm, like so many kids don't have that experience, you don't understand how food gets from wherever it started at the farm to the grocery store or the farmer's market or the restaurant where you eat it. And that is a huge disconnect for a vast amount of people. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people that are trying to tell the story of agriculture and tell the big story of big ag and food production. And a lot of it's just not true. And so what a lot of folks in social media and a lot of folks in agriculture have done is decided they're taking it on themselves to share their story. And some of it is as simple as, here we are milking cows this morning. It's 4 a.m., it's still dark outside. We do this every morning. here's my cow, her name's Betsy.
We started back in the days of dial-up, so we've always had a website. We advertised our bull sales, and we had sale catalogs on there, but looking back, you can see how primitive those websites were compared to today. With social media, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter wasn't available at that time, so it's a different world, but we started out years ago, back in the early 90s. Well, I use Facebook to target audiences for our livestock and for our beef operation. I can take out a small ad and target it toward people who are interested in cattle or farm to table or organic. I can target it to their interests, so I'm not just throwing a wide net. I can really target my advertising and reach the people I need to reach. It's been really, really good for this first year at bringing people in. The majority of our sales have been off of Facebook. People are really interested in where their food comes from these days, so people ask about how your animals are treated and what type of feed you give them, and basically the life of the cow. How are the cows happy? A lot of people want to know if you treat your animals well, and we do, so that's not a problem for us.
You know, you tackle those tough subjects where people don't understand what we're doing, and you just explain to them what we do and why. For so many years, farmers have just put their head down and done their job and sent their product to market, and everybody has respected the integrity of that. But in this day and age, with all this information at our fingertips, if they can't find the story, then they go looking for it, and there's so much bad information that it's really our responsibility to make sure that there's good information out there too.
Social media has changed the way we interact with our customers. We can easily reach people. We can tell our story where we couldn't before. It puts smaller farmers on a more even footing with bigger operations, so you can quickly get your message out in a professional manner to a large audience really quickly.
I think what we want to share as people in agriculture is that we're hardworking people just like everybody. And not everybody can start a blog, and that's okay. Not everybody can have a Instagram feed and post 20 pictures a day, but everybody has a circle of influence between where your kids go to school and your church and your community. Your circle of influence is going to go outside of just folks in agriculture. And don't be afraid to post those things that some people may see as a little bit controversial. Things like castration, giving a sick animal antibiotics, because those are things that have to be done on our farm. And you're going to reach a lot of folks when you're sharing things online. And so you have to kind of approach it like you do in your day-to-day life. But yeah, it's your responsibility to talk about what you're doing and why, especially if you want to keep doing it.
Joining us now is agriculture aviator Michael Hutchins and Sean Ott, garden programmer with the Faulkner County Library. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. Michael, we're going to start with you. I'm seeing a lot of similarities with agriculture aviation, with operating a farm. Often it's a family business that you grew up in.
Right. Yeah, I would say that's safe to say. That's probably the case in a lot of instances. Although probably unlike farming, I think more so in the farming, you probably see it more so. I was an example of that. I started flying for a guy that he didn't have any children, and worked for him through college and ended up buying the operation. So I was an example of the opposite end of that, but that is the case in a lot of instances.
Talk about training. I know that there's got to be a lot of training and a lot of experience before you can do what you do. If someone says came to you and said, I want to be an agriculture aviator and I want to work for you, what can they expect as far as training and licensure?
Right. Well, as far as it's kind of, that question's kind of a twofold answer. You got on the one side, you know, as far as the flying standpoint, yes, you need a commercial license and like anyone that's going to actually have a flying job to make money. But on the flip side of it, it definitely gets more difficult after that, because there's no really set thing to actually do. You're going to have to get involved with an operation, and you're going to have to actually learn it, you know, from the ground up. There's so many facets to what we do. It's not just one thing, a syllabus to follow. It's definitely involved. There's a lot of years of training to actually get to that point where you're ready to actually take that step.
Okay. Tell me a little more about the Arkansas Aerial Applicators Association.
Okay. Well, like in the video, I think Catherine and Doug elaborated on it a little bit. The association is there really to actually kind of fight our battles for us. I mean, we're busy doing our jobs through the summer, and at that time, there's work being done behind the scenes when it comes to regulations, taxes, fuel tax, all the things that actually affect our business. That's where they're really heavily involved. And like the 4A, they're on the state level, but we have our NAAA, which on the national level are tackling the problems in DC for us. And that's what's keeping us in business.
Okay. I was noticing in the video the digital readouts and unique, I'm sure, to your profession. What kind of instruments do you depend on to do your job?
Yeah. Well, the only thing that's really unique to the airplanes that we're flying, you know, as it compares to any other airplane, is just the fact that we have a guidance system there that's actually basically directing us across the field. And it enables us to make a precise application going across the field, and it's keeping us within, in the video you've seen the light bar that's moving from side to side. That's actually what's, that's kind of our flaggers. You know, that's what took the place of the people that was actually out there manually doing it. So really that's the only thing as far as instrumentation wise that's actually specific, you know, I would say to that airplane.
You know, I've been around this all my life, agriculture, and occasionally you'll see a helicopter being used for application. Is that, why do we not see more?
Well, I think it's just because of where we're at. Now, granted, there are helicopters in the state. Seems like more so in the northern part of the state, and I can't really answer why they're in that area. But I can say, overall, if you're going to have a helicopter working in Arkansas, especially in the part of the state that we're in, you're going to have to complement that with an aircraft, and the reason, or a fixed-wing airplane. And the reason why is because of all the dry fertilizer we do.
Right.
The helicopters are great, you know, tools for spraying herbicides, insecticides, and stuff like that, but they just don't have the capability to cover the rice acres, putting out the fertilizer and stuff. So most of the, like I said, I'm not going to say every time, but most instances where you see them in the state, they're complemented by a fixed-wing plane.
What are we talking about with payload when you go up and you're talking about the engine on the plane? How much weight can you take up when you go up with a load?
Well, it just depends. I mean, you know, it's like comparing one model of a car to another. You have, you know, an airplane, you know, the smaller ones that you see nowadays are 400-gallon hoppers, so you might be talking about in that 2,400 pound, and that goes all the way up to, you know, 6,000 pounds. I mean, so it's a wide range. It just depends on the airplane that we're actually flying. So,
Sean, I want to talk to you about the gardening and demonstration garden. Are we seeing more people, urban and rural, becoming more interested in having a garden?
I would definitely say yes, especially in the more urban and suburban situations, ranging from college students to young families. Very interested and very intimidated, and trying to figure out, from my experience, people trying to figure out how to get their feet wet and get started in it.
Fewer people are being brought up in an agricultural family now, so they don't have anything, any reference points. So
exactly, and transitioning farms and apprenticeships within farms is a major issue right now, from what I've seen.
Tell me a little bit about the Kids Garden Club.
The Kids Garden Club, it's focused towards elementary age students. It's hands-on learning for the kids. We try and do a mix of arts and crafts, horticultural, agricultural information, but also nutrition education, where we actually use the food to prepare, we use the produce and the harvest from the garden to actually prepare food. Last year we made spinach and strawberry smoothies with the kids, and they really enjoyed that one.
Conway, Little Rock, other cities in Arkansas are setting aside space for community gardens. So if someone who lives, say, in an apartment and wants to have a garden, they have a place that they can raise their vegetables. Are we seeing this as a growing trend?
I would say so. Programs such as Fit to Live in North Little Rock, the Delta Garden Study, and Arkansas Food Corps and Garden Corps have been doing great things. Even in Conway, we have a really nice community garden out at the McGee Center in West Conway. I think that's been going for almost 10 years now, and very active community.
What is it that draws you to this, being involved with this program, and what satisfaction do you get from it?
Well, the Urban Farm Project specifically, that's how I initially got into agriculture and plants. That's how I discovered my love of plants. It's great being able to work with people, help find solutions for their problems and their needs, and also being able to get your hands dirty and making the program as it is now, and helping incorporate the nonprofit side of the Urban Farm Project with the library itself.
So if a community would like to start a project like yours, can they give you a call and get some advice on how to get going?
I'm a librarian. Part of my job is to help connect resources, and definitely contact your local extension service. We have a number of great extension service members in the state, and great resources.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the program. And that's all the time we have for today. You can find past episodes of Agri Arkansas online at aetn.org/Agri Arkansas. And if you have a story idea, we'd love to hear them. Drop us an email at agri@aetn.org. We'll see you next time.
Major funding for this program provided by the Moving Image Trust Fund. Additional funding for this program provided by the Arkansas Agriculture Department.